Hi, I'm Maysha with As Long as You're Breathing. And again tonight, I've been busy writing and working on projects all day, and got the hit, the intuitive hit to go ahead and go live. So that's what I'm doing, and actually kind of enjoying it also. This is YouTube, so please hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button, and share us with everyone if you would please, because here we believe as long as you're breathing, well, we should all be living in great big capital letters.
As long as you're breathing, keep living. 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 As long as you're breathing, keep living.
Hey, you all. I'm Maysha again with As Long as You're Breathing, obviously. Tonight we're going to talk about being healed but triggered, and then flawed, forgiven, and living. You see, we are, hi, good to have you. Thanks for joining. We are energetic beings. We are human beings. The being is a verb. Okay? Being human, energetic beings, we are constantly in motion, having emotional experiences. We are energy in motion. So even when we have healed something, well, life is still going on. We're still going to get triggered sometimes. We actually exist with this spiral upward model of healing. We have to understand that when we heal something, we heal it at the level of consciousness we're at the time. The healing is only as deep as what we're prepared for. But the next time, as we're living, because we don't get to do this in a vacuum, we don't get to stop the world and say, okay, let me do all of my healing, and then we start the planet back up, and then I'm going to live. No, it doesn't work that way. So if you're going to wait until you are totally healed to live, not going to happen. You're going to miss out on all the living in great big capital letters. So it just doesn't work that way. So what we have to understand is that as we heal at our level of consciousness that we're at the time. Now, the level of consciousness someone is at, that's not, oh my gosh, I'm at a lower level of consciousness than someone else, I'm somehow inferior. No, you're not. That's just the experiences you've had so far. You are the totality of the experiences you've had so far, what you have been able to awaken to. That's it. And what causes different people to awaken to different things, you may be at a higher level of consciousness on some things than the most awakened, enlightened there is in other things. We're all at different levels because life, like I said, the planet didn't stop for us all to do this, okay? That didn't happen. It's in the Superman movie. We don't get to stop the planet, turn it around, go back, save Lois Lane. No, we don't get to do that. It just doesn't work that way. So we have to accept the fact that we are all doing this healing in real time. You know, kind of like I'm trying to do YouTube in real time and get you all to come on and, hit the subscribe button and all of that stuff. Yeah, we have to learn and heal and live in great big capital letters all at once. Or if we try to wait until we're perfectly healed, if we try to wait until we have all of our ducks in a row, if we try to wait until everything is just right, we're going to miss out on all the living in great big capital letters. Life's going to go on, but what are you going to be missing by waiting like that? Yeah. So when we heal, it's a spiraling upward model, meaning we heal at the level of consciousness we are at the time, and there is no judgment for whatever level of consciousness that is. It just is what it is. Okay? No judgment there. Do you want to be judged for the level of consciousness you're at? No. All right? Don't judge anyone else. They just are where they are, and that's where they are. Okay? So, well, but I might make a mistake. No, you're going to do what you know to do at that time. We do what we know to do at that time. What? You mean you're not going to say I made a mistake? No, because you're at a level of consciousness, which I'm not going to judge because I don't want mine judged. And you did what you knew to do at the time. 99% of the people in the world, there's those few who always are the exception, but 99.9% of the time, everyone's doing the best they can do. So what is there to judge? I know the times in my life I've done the best I knew to do at the moment, and I sure don't want to be judged for them. So if I don't want to be judged for them, total self-care means, hold on a second, that's how I show up in the world, is someone who doesn't want to be judged for the mistakes I've made, because I was doing what I knew to do at the time. I was at that level of consciousness. So that means, first of all, I got to treat myself that way. All right. Boy, I did some doozies, but that's the level of consciousness I was at the time. I did what I knew to do. Maybe I knew better than to do it, but there's something about that moment in time where that decision seemed like the right one. So I forgive myself for it. I'm not going to judge myself for it. I forgive myself for it. I'm going to look at it, see what I can learn from it, see what I need to release, see what I need to heal, see what past traumas there were that may have caused it. I'm going to look at, oh, well, you just see it now because you're at a higher level of consciousness. Well, okay, that's great too. But there's still maybe some healing to do around it. But that's what I'm going to do for me. That's my total self-care. That's true self-care. That is energy management. And then I'm going to do that back to others because it's mutual respect. And if I want to be treated that way to begin with, then I can't stop with, here's my boundaries. I'm doing self-care. These are my boundaries. And if people don't treat me this way, then, well, guess what? They're not going to unless you treat them that way too. Just how it is. Because who do you want to be around? People who treat you the way you want to be treated. So how are you going to do that? How are you going to attract that into your life? Well, you attract into our lives what's equal to the vibrational frequency we're at. So if I'm going to operate in this vibrational frequency down here where these are my boundaries and I'm going to be treated this way, and I don't necessarily treat everybody else that way, I'm not going to attract the people that are going to do that. I'm just going to attract more people that are going to treat me however they want to, and I'm just going to have to put up more boundaries and isolate myself even more and drag out this whole healing thing. And there's no living in great big capital letters there, y'all. So the total self-care is you forgive yourself. You're at the level of consciousness you were at the time. And you look at all of the things about it, and you do your healing work. And then you heal to the level of consciousness you are at that moment in time. And then you treat everyone else that way too. Whatever they've done and whatever level of consciousness where they were at that time, you respect them and you forgive it. Now, does that mean that you have to go on with that relationship, especially if they are rude, whatever, because they may still be in that level of consciousness? Does that mean you have to continue that relationship? Does that mean that you go back for more of it? No, that's what the mind is for. The mind is like, hold the phone here. I get this whole total self-care thing that you got going. I get we want to attract the people that are going to be like that. And so we've got to show that outwardly. We have to be that. We have to be in vibrational alignment with that to attract that caliber, that frequency of people into our lives. I get that. But those people that did that stuff to us, you want to go back and do what? Forgive them and go on living? What? Why would I do that? Well, because if we don't do forgiveness, we're going to stay in a low vibrational frequency. And we just concluded that, hold on, I don't want to be judged for all those things I did at a different level of consciousness when I was doing the best I knew to do, or well, maybe a little less than I knew, but I did what I did. And oh, yeah, that's how I want to be treated. So I treat myself that way. Oh, that feels good. Now I treat others that way. But brain, you're right, because you're my computer and you have learned that that person still behaves that way. So I can forgive them. Yeah, because then it brings my vibration up. But my living in great big capital letters means I don't let that person do that to me again. I don't get in that situation again. I still respect them, but I keep going. My timeline keeps going. Energetically, I have released that person. There's not space in my life now because I don't want to show gratitude to that. And I don't want something in my life I'm not grateful for. That is my energy management. That is my total self-care. I want in my life what I can be grateful for. That's the people and experiences and relationships that are at the vibrational frequency that I just put myself into. That's what I want to make the space for. That is energetically managing your life. That is total self-care in action, because we have to heal in action. We are human beings is a verb. Energy in motion beings, emotional beings, in motion, emotions, energy in motion. So we've got to do all of this stuff in real time, folks. There's no stopping the planet, doing it, getting everything perfect, and then start the planet back up. And now let's go on with my life. Nope. You may create that illusion for yourself, but you're missing out on life. You're just living, you're existing. Little letters. With the great big capital letters, you have to do this in motion, in real time. So we heal in a spiraling upward motion. We heal at the level of consciousness we are at the time. And then, I'll be dadgum, I got triggered. I wasn't healed after all. Yes, you were. You were healed at the level of consciousness you were at the time. And now you're at a higher vibrational frequency. And so you got triggered. Well, you're going to recognize it faster. Yeah, I did. I even recognized I was triggered. Back before, when I was in the lower vibration, before I had done the work, the total self-care, the true self-care, I didn't even know what a trigger was. That wasn't in my consciousness. I wasn't consciously aware that I had these things I wasn't healed from, or these past traumas, or these past societal expectations that I had accepted as the way it is, people in cheap seats, or whatever it was that were causing me to be that way. I didn't even know that before. That was the level of consciousness I was at. But I figured that out and I healed from it at that level. And now I'm up here, but something's happened up here that has triggered something there. That doesn't mean you weren't healed. You just recognized that you were triggered by something. That is great. That is improvement. How fast are you recognizing it? The more higher vibrational you get, the more consciously aware you become, the faster you recognize these triggers. And then when you recognize the triggers, what do you do with it? You are now consciously aware of the fact that the way to heal, and the way to quantum leap it for sure, is to go straight to forgiving it. So you identify it and you just accept. Okay, I'm flawed. I'll be dadgum. There's a flaw in me. There's a crack in my armor. Guess what? Everybody's armor is cracked. That's where our sunshine comes out of. Yeah, the cracks. The cracks are where the inner sunshine we've all got is like peering out of. All right? It's all right to have some cracks in your armor. We've all got them. You're flawed. Wow. Hold the phone. That's a news flash. Human beings, even the healed ones that are high vibrational and with awareness and conscious, that are energetically awakened, they've got some flaws still. Holy smokes. Yeah. Just like before. Only now they recognize the triggers and they can do something about it faster. They've spiraled upward in their healing. And so it's not out here anymore, but it's in here. So they step back. They say, well, the first thing I do is figure out what it is. Oh, it's related to that. I recognize that. I've been through this before, so I recognize it. But why did it trigger me? Oh, well, I forgot there was also that. Got to deal with that. And then you figure out what that was and you release it. And I've got meditations for doing that. You understand that, okay, that happened. I'm not pretending it didn't happen. I'm not discreating it, because we can't discreate things. But I can transmute it. I can say, okay, there's negative energy associated with that. And I'm transmuting that. I'm turning that into positive energy by understanding that that was my reality at the time. That was my truth at the time. That was the situation I was in at the time. That's how things were. Or it's how I believe them to be. It's how I was programmed to believe it, or I was living in that traumatic situation, but I'm not there anymore. So I'm here. So I'm releasing that, transmuting the negative energy from it, which just simply means all that negative energy, I'm releasing it so it can be turned into positive energy. And I'm moving here and I'm leaving it there. And I did that. I quantum leaped it by, well, first and foremost, I'm going to forgive myself in it. You're saying, well, what did you do in it? Maybe you didn't do anything. Well, maybe I didn't, but I got triggered by it, didn't I? And I'm sitting here feeling like, well, there's cracks in my armor. So I'm not good enough for living in great big capital letters. I need to stop the planet and not have a life. Nope. I'm going to forgive myself for thinking that. And then I'm going to forgive everything involved in it, because what can I do about it anyway? I've already done what I can do about it. I've released it. Maybe it's all still going on, but it's not going on in my life. I released it. That is my past. So now you just healed yourself at a deeper level. You spiraled upward. And so now you're further in. And next time that you get triggered, because, well, you just got healed, and I'll be dadgum, there's still a crack in your armor. So you're going to be this high vibrational person going along, and something will trigger it again. But you're going to recognize it like that. And you're going to be, and I know why, and I release that, transmute that. It's just it. And how do you do that? Go to the breath. Go to the breath. Yeah. The breath is our fuel. We are energetic beings, and the breath is our fuel. We are born with an inhale. Take a breath. Take a breath. Go with inward. And realize what the truth of the situation is. Make that truth your truth now, and you live in that truth. This is energy management. This is true self-care. Not putting up a bunch of barriers, not shutting the world out, not hitting the stop button on the planet and trying to keep it from going round and round so you can get every little duck in the row. No. You got to do all this in real time. Not only that, but go on and live in great big capital letters while you're doing it. There's nothing to be ashamed of here. Every person on the planet is having to do the same thing. They all put their pants on one leg at a time. And if they wear dresses or skirts, they're just stepping into that one piece at a time. None of us are any different in this. So There's no reason to look at yourself and say, oh, I'm different. I'm worse than the rest. I'm more flawed than the rest. My armor's got more cracks in it. Well, there's just more sunshine shining out of it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So, yes, we're flawed. Yes, even the healed ones are going to get triggered sometimes, but they're going to recognize it faster. They're going to stop and forgive themselves. They're going to transmute the negative energies that are associated with it that have brought them down in vibration some. They're going to release that. They're going to get back to their truth and probably have even a clearer picture of the truth, a clearer picture of themselves, a better picture of the world, more clarity than they ever had. And they're going to go forward to live in great big capital letters. That's how we do all of this in real time, folks. If we don't do that, if we stay in that energy, what we end up doing is spiraling downward more and more. We start ruminating about it in our heads. And we start spiraling downward. We get disillusioned with ourselves. Well, I'm back to this again. This has happened again. Here I am again. Maybe somebody really did do something to you, but you're back in it again. So now you're disillusioned with them too. Vibrations dropping all the time. And then you become illusional, because then we start creating stories to go with it all. We're great at that. We're great at that. When we lower our vibration, the dimension of our intuition, which is also our imagination, well, it starts listening to the brain, which the brain says, well, so-and-so was in this situation, and you know what that was. And then the imagination kicks in and says, oh yeah, I bet that's what's happening with us too. And the brain is right on that, because the brain is in protection mode, which is its job. The dimension of protection, guardianship, the guardian clicks right in and says, oh, finally, that imagination dimension is finally working with me here. And so it really gets fired up then. You're out of the realm of intuition. You're all the way into imagination now. And the brain is happy with that, because finally I get to do something. I get to protect them from it. And boy, am I going to protect them from something big. And you blow it up out of proportion. If you make it bigger than it is, you imagine things about it that aren't true. Or maybe you get it exactly right. But regardless, it's your old truth. It's an old truth, or it's going to become an old truth once you pull yourself back up out of that spiraling downward that you did. And you go ahead and you forgive it all, and you forgive yourself, and you transmute that energy. You release that energy, you leave it there, and you get back into your truth and sovereign over that. Do your energy management, which is true self-care. You could do it that way, but all that takes longer. So how about not doing any of that spiraling downward? The second you recognize it, wherever you got to, nope, I know what's going on here. And I know what to do. I go to the breath. I bring myself to a space of calmness. I go within. I figure the situation out. I release it. And I get back to the present. And I forge ahead, living in great big capital letters. Turns out the earth doesn't need a big stop button after all. Turns out we don't need Superman to stop the planet and spin it backwards and save Lois Lane. And we don't need to do that. We're superhuman heroes ourselves. We just saved ourselves. Guess what? That's what we all have to do anyway. We're the only ones who can. No one else can do that cycle for us. No one else can do that total self-care that I just talked you through for us. We have to do it for ourselves. Now, how do we come to that? Well, I want to feel a certain way in my life. I want to be at a certain vibrational frequency of how I feel. I want to be at a certain vibrational frequency in my life. That is the life I want to experience. Oh, there we go. There's that other word. I want to experience. I am sovereign over this life, and I am going to feel, be, and experience heaven on earth, because that's what I came here for. So, I got a crack in my armor. I got triggered by something. What am I going to do about it? Total, true self-care. I'm going to stop. I'm going to take a deep breath. I may take 10 of them. I may take 100 of them. But I'm going to calm myself down. I'm going to get my chakras balanced, centered, rotated, cleansed, calibrated, and going. I'm going to come to my unique divine feminine, divine masculine center. I'm going to release any energetic cords I may have into someone or that they may have into me. No, I'm going to release all those attachments that don't need to be there. I'm going to call all of me back to me. Then I'm going to connect with all of me, all of my dimensional aspects that I've got. I'm going to call them all down here to my heart space so we can manifest a solution to this here at the heart space. Use our intuition for it. That's what I just called down, is the control tower group that can see things that I can't. I'm going to call them all down. And the mind is just going to have to be quiet. You've already stopped me. You've already given me. You get to chime in a little bit. And then I'm going to look at the situation, and the mind's going to say, yeah, we already learned that, didn't we? And you're going to say, yeah. And the mind's going to say, well, I think, and you're like, hold on. Because maybe what the mind is thinking is going to be helpful, but maybe what the mind is thinking is going to take you spiraling downward into delusion and disillusionment and illusion. So you want to watch that. And you're like, no, I don't need all that. You don't have to protect me here. You don't have to save me here. I got it. You don't have to do that. Your computer, and you know what happened before. You don't know what's going to happen now. I'm sovereign over the living of my life, and living is going forward, and you've not done this yet. So thank you very much. You protected us. You helped. I appreciate you. You did your job. Now it's my job. My job is sovereignty over self. I know what I want to feel, be, and experience. I know the vibrational frequency I want to be at. So I'm going to let go of the energy that just triggered me and put me in that lower vibration. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, yeah. The brain's like, I kind of recognize this. You did that like the past 40 things now. And by golly, it's working. Yes, it is. So, but thank you for acknowledging that. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm giving it to you this time, but I'm not sure I'll give it to you next time. Actually, I'm sure I won't, because my job is to guard you, and I'm going to speak up. Yeah, okay. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But you've done your job now. I got it. Okay. You see, we have to take sovereignty over that too. It is a magnificent thing, but that is what we have to transcend. We have to quantum leap that thing, actually. We have to actually quiet it down. And that's what the breathing does. The breathing will quiet that down. So we're in a state of calmness. And then we can connect more easily with the higher dimensions, the higher vibrational energy. And we can then analyze what it is, feel into, recognize what it is that we need to release, that we need to transmute. And we do that. And then we come back to, my vibration is coming up. I'm feeling, I'm at the frequency I want to feel at. I'm being at the frequency I want to be at. I'm existing. I'm experiencing. I am living at the vibrational frequency I want to be at. We got this in real time. Didn't have to stop the planet after all. Holy smokes. And I did it myself. I need a cape. And that's energy management, folks. And that's how, when you're healed, but you get triggered, because it's going to happen. We are all going to continue to get triggered by something, but that's how we deal with it. And why do we do that? Because that's how we want to be treated. We want other people to do the exact same for us. We want them to, hold on a second, they just got triggered. You realize you're triggered, right? Yeah, I realize it. Thanks. Hold on a second. Give me a little bit. Going into the breath, Okay, maybe you need to go for a walk. Maybe it takes you a little longer. Maybe, but you do whatever it is you need to do. It's going to happen faster and faster and faster all the time. You're going to get better and better and better at this. And that person that accepted you just as you are and loved you through it, that's what you want them to do to you too, because you're at that vibrational frequency. That's the type of person you're attracting into your life. And that's how you're going to handle each other when you trigger each other. You're going to discuss it calmly in the dimension of your relationship, whether it's somebody you're working with, whether it's a family member, whether it was your child, whether it's a significant other. You want to raise the whole planet up to this vibrational frequency, so we're all doing this. True self-care, total self-care, energy management. Healed but triggered. Okay, so I'm flawed. I'm going to forgive it, and I'm going to forge ahead, living, as long as I'm breathing, in great big capital letters. Good night, you all.